Hello, Frontstretch family. Welcome back to another Grassroots Rundown. This time, we're here after a Cars Tour thriller at Caraway Speedway. I'm Chase Folsom, here with Jared Haas. I have a confetti cannon, and these showered over Jared Fryar, who won at Caraway tonight. Didn't look like early on he was going to be the guy to go to victory lane. I guess I don't need the cannon anymore. Had a solid run going, top three all night, but something we'll talk about in a little bit kind of put the lead into his lap, and he took care of business from there. You talked to Fryar afterwards. What did he say about the win?
I mean, he was ecstatic. This Jared Fryar is not a full-time competitor. He's doing this on a part-time basis, but I don't think he's going to be at Hickory at the next race, but he takes opportunity and advantage of those opportunities that he gets and runs well. And what happened, as we're going to mention to it, we had the leader's wreck, and he was there, one of the top three cars, and he was able to secure the win because of misfortune about their drivers.
Absolutely. It's the old saying about quality mattering more than quantity. Could they run every Cars Tour race? Maybe. Would they be as fast? Maybe not. So far, it's worked out for him this year. He's got 2 wins on the season, 3rd win here at Caraway, and this time, unlike 2 years ago, he actually crossed the line first, and it looks like he's going to clear tech, so he's got that over Lane Riggs. The wreck. That changed everything in this race. It looked like Landen Lewis had the car to beat towards the end of the race. Mini Tyrrell lined up outside him for 2 consecutive restarts. First restart was fairly clean. I mean, they made a little bit of contact, but on the second restart, Lewis got into the door of the 81, climbed the left front fender of the 81 of Tyrrell. They spun off turn 2 and collected Landon Huffman. All 3 drivers were unhappy for various reasons following the race. What did you see of the incident, and what did you think of it?
Well, I was on the front stretch, so I didn't see much in turn 1 and 2.
Much.
But I saw the caution come out, and I'm like, okay, what happened? And then they come around. I didn't see Minnie. I didn't see Landon Lewis. I'm like, uh-oh, they wrecked. And then all of a sudden, I just see Minnie's car's front end all torn up. And they said they had a car go on top of them. I'm like, how in the world do you do this at this little short track? And an unfortunate situation for both of those drivers because those 2 drivers were the 2 best drivers here at Caraway. I mean, had Jared Fryar was right there in 3rd, but it was going to be down to those 2, and unfortunately, they took each other out, and for Landon Lewis, it looked like it was going to be a good point stay. Connor Hall was not running well here, but Lewis wrecks out. Hall, not the best finish, but was able to manage some points over Lewis, who was in 2nd place.
Absolutely, and I'll throw Landon Huffman in there as well. Before that last, we'll call him a fun flag, towards the end of the race, I believe it came with exactly 25 laps to go. Landon Huffman was the fastest car on the racetrack. He had run down the top 3. He was working over Jared Fryar for the 3rd spot. It seems like in the points battle, these 3 can't seem to get out of their own way. Every time the 88 has a bad night, Landon Lewis has an equally bad night. Mini Tyrrell and Landon Huffman find a way to have a worse night. When it doesn't look like it's going to go that way and then something of this nature happens that throws it all haywire, in a late race spot like that, what is your opinion of what the etiquette should be, what the expectation should be when you've got the leader lined up on the bottom, which isn't necessarily the preferred lane, but you don't want to get run up the racetrack. Is it warranted to run the other guy up the racetrack instead? Because it can lead to things like this.
Well, you got to understand first what is the championship system. If it's in the Cup Series, the NASCAR Series, where it's a little bit more playoff structure, there's a little bit more of that, aggressiveness that you can go for. But with the Cars Tour, you have more of the traditional points system where there's not like a playoff structure in the Cars Tour. So every race matters. And you got to make sure if you're turning an okay race, it doesn't turn into a bad race. And especially these great races, you can't have it turn into bad races where you're ending up on the hauler wrecked out. So, understandably, you're going to try to go for a win. Don't get me wrong that you want to make sure you get max points. But if you're going to be ending up on the hauler, out of the race, and losing all those points, when you had an opportunity like Landon Lewis did to get a great amount of points against Connor Hall, it's just making you scratch your head and wonder, why did Landon Lewis and Mini Tyrrell get into each other when you, like I said, have an advantage over the points leader?
Absolutely. Those 3 guys are the guys trying to run down Hall in this championship battle, and Landon Huffman pretty much summed it all up. He said if he had used his head, which his words, not ours, if he had used his head, we could all finish 1, 2, 3, and the 88 was running just about 15th all night. That's a great points night for all 3. Instead, junk. And there has to come a point when you have to think, okay, if I'm really racing for a championship here, I've got to use my head. I've got to maybe sacrifice a spot here, there for the greater goal. But when you talk to any of them, they're not racing for a championship, so they say they're racing for race wins and the rest takes care of itself. And that's just kind of the mentality that has taken over all of motorsports these days. And I feel like that's why we get the incidents like this that we do.
It's a very expensive mentality.
For sure.
Where winning is, sure, everything. It's the one that looks great in photos. It's the one that sponsors are interested in. They want to make sure in victory lane. But when you don't win, when you go all for it, and it happens in turn 1 and 2, you're going to be in a big old pile of crap here because you're wrecked out. And I mean, that is TV time too, but at the end of the day, it doesn't get you a championship, doesn't get you all the points, and where, you know, a lot of the prestige comes from a championship is rewarded at the end of the season. And if you're wrecking out, getting those bad finishes, that's going to negate those wins that you get at the other racetracks.
When it comes down to the end of these races, everybody gets dollar signs in their eyes because winning brings money. Well, in the words of Jalen Hurts, money is nice, championships are better. And in this case, they're all going to have to start thinking that way if they're going to run down Connor Hall. That just about sums it up. Any final thoughts for you?
Give a shout out to Tristan McKee. He had a really hard hit with the pro race in turn 3 and 4. Throttle hung, wrecked out, and of course was starting back there. Had a really was struggling qualifying back there. And he actually made a bet, and you want to make sure you watch that video as well, that he won $100 for this bet with this performance here tonight. So Tristan, he had his right front gone, was still able to get it finished third after all the carnage that happened with the front runners.
And I'll give my shout out to Brandon Lopez. Picked up his first career Cars Tour Pro late model win tonight. It came with a lot of chaos and controversy in front of him, but nonetheless, the stat sheet and the record book will forever say Brandon Lopez is a Cars Tour winner. For Jared Haas, I'm Chase Folsom. Until next time, so long from Caraway Speedway.
Hey race fans, I'm Anthony Damcott with Frontstretch.com. If you enjoyed that Grassroots video, be sure to subscribe to Frontstretch Grassroots for more from ARCA, Cars Tour, and other homegrown racing series. And be sure to visit Frontstretch.com for all the latest great racing content.